And we're really happy the whole Stokes family is here tonight. All of them. So, without any further ado, I would like to introduce JoAn. JoAn Stokes was born on a farm near Courtney, North Dakota. She attended school in Courtney and graduated from Jamestown College in 1954. She and her husband Art taught in various towns in North Dakota before coming to Medina in 1963. They raised their 3 children, Patty, Steve, and Deb, in Medina, and all are here tonight. The Stokes family lived in a large house on a lot adjacent to the Lutheran Church, which has now been moved to the country. Art taught music from 1963 until 1976, when he was forced to retire because of health reasons. JoAn taught business and English from 1973 to 1979 and served as a school district clerk along with teaching in Medina High School. The family moved to California in 1979. JoAn is now retired and living in Northern California between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe. Please welcome JoAn.
Thomas Wolfe famously said, "You can't go home again." Well, you can. My family and I just did, and many of you did. I'm so overwhelmed right now with everything that's been happening for the last few days. I don't even know if I'm able to talk. So I'm going to try. I guess I can always talk. I'm just so grateful for this whole time and this wonderful welcome here. It's just not to be equaled, I don't think, any place. And I'm doubly grateful because I've been given the chance to talk about what I remember about Medina and why I love it so. But before I get into remembering, I need to tell you that I'm now in my 80th year, and you probably know that old folks like to give advice. And I was thinking, I sang with a barbershop quartet for 20 years in California and did lots of talking along with it. And we like to give advice, I did, to the men in the audience. And there was a story that I like to tell. And it's about a woman who died. And she got up to the pearly gates with St. Peter. And St. Peter said, "All you have to do to get in is spell a word." And he said the word was love. Well, she spelled it, L-O-V-E. She was in. And a few days later, St. Peter had a few errands to run, and he asked the lady to take his place at the gate. And wouldn't you know, the first guy that came through, her husband. Well, he started right off apologizing. He said, "I want you to know how sorry I am about, all the drinking, the gambling, all the other women. I know I made your life miserable, but isn't this wonderful? Now we can spend eternity together." And she said, "Yes." And then she said, "All you have to do is spell a word." And he said, "Well, what is it?" And she said, "Czechoslovakia." That was more of a warning to the men. So, okay, here's what I remember. You have to keep in mind that it's been 35 years since I lived here. So I know most of the names I mentioned will not be familiar to all of you. But it's all I've got. I remember coming to Medina. It was the fall of 1963. We were living in Jamestown and expecting our first baby any day. My husband Art was unhappily selling insurance, and when Pastor Agent offered him the music position here, he grabbed it, and he began teaching and driving back and forth, and until we could get into a house. But he wasn't feeling very well, and he landed in the hospital 3 days after Patty was born. So when Patty was 2 weeks old, she and I moved to Medina by ourselves. And Art was in the hospital yet recovering from his surgery. And there were some complications, and it was going to be 3 months before he'd be able to get to teaching. And that was 3 months with no income. Now, not good. But here's the good news. We were in Medina. We had wonderful neighbors, the Janats, the Andrews. They were so helpful to us. Board store said we could charge groceries as long as we needed. A guy named Norman Graff that I'd never met heard that the movers couldn't get my refrigerator in the kitchen and it was sitting in my shed. And he was there the next day, and he got it in the kitchen. And then another person, Janet Well, whom I'd never met, she came to welcome me to Medina. She had 2 little boys with her, Wes and Marty. And she became a dear friend for life. I remember Medina is the best place to raise kids. Where else but in Medina could my 3-year-old Steve have taken his girlfriend, Angie Courage, on their tricycles up to Borth's store to buy candy? Well, Phyllis Hohalter alerted me immediately. I appeared. The date ended, and they and their trikes rode home in the car with me. Where but in Medina could my brainy but unathletic Patty had a spot on the school track team? And it was in Medina where my good friend Jen, she's going to appear frequently in here, and I accidentally got pregnant a little late in life and in the same year. But we had the good fortune to produce Beth and Sarah, best friends, inseparable from the time they could walk until they were 8 years old, and we moved away. I remember nicknames being rampant in Medina. My 3 kids were often called Hutter, Hutch, and Skunk Sister. I remember Hutter and Hutch at my kitchen table playing pinochle with crust. That was Becky Bader, and tuba, you all know. The 2 boys wore their baseball caps always, and they had their signals worked out. They beat those 2 poor unsuspecting girls every single time. I remember Medina is the best place to teach. Those Medina kids treated me so well. I don't know if it was because I was the oldest member of the staff, or if they were just raised to be polite and respectful. I honestly can't recall any real discipline problems. Probably the worst thing that happened was Kirby Moser fell asleep in my class. We all just watched him sleep. I carried on the class, and then it was getting to the end, and I thought I'd never wake him up, so I gently woke him. And I gave him the next day's assignment, but I doubled what I just gave him the rest of it. He was irate, sputtering, and how in the world, why, how could anyone do all those questions? And the rest of the class just was having the best time with me. And then I think eventually we let him in on the fun. In addition to having a great group of students, I taught under a really good superintendent, and that was Mr. Art Menzel. And he talked me into being the school district clerk, along with teaching, which I thought, well, I don't know how that'll work. It worked fine. I loved that job, and I got to know the good people on the Medina School Board, which I would never have the chance to otherwise. Teaching wasn't the highest paid profession, it isn't. But there are perks. And once again, my friend Janet, she could spot a guy in the study hall reading an X-rated book. I think from 20 feet away if she was. And she would take that book. You didn't get to read it. And then Janet and I would read those books in the summer. Steve and Russ were our couriers. They were always biking back and forth between our houses. And they were always bringing this a book. It would be in a brown paper envelope, marked pattern size 12. It hasn't been very long ago that they found out what was in that envelope. Oh, they're so sorry they never got to do that. Well, let's see. I remember typing class with an assortment of manual and electric typewriters, and they were frequently breaking down. It's probably though, but I love so many, these kids are saying, they're saying, typing, that's what we use now all the time, you know, with these computers. Makes me feel kind of important because it's sure easy to teach typing. But anyway, it's probably good that I came before computers. Actually, in my later office jobs, I learned the basics. I got along okay, but computers do get the best of me. And not long ago, I sent Patty a message on Facebook, and I thought it was a private message. But it was for the whole world to see. And unfortunately, I was telling about the problems that went along with my colonoscopy. Immediately, I got this message from Beth. Facebook 101, lesson 2, my house, Saturday 1 o'clock. Very smart kids, they get a little lost. Okay, and then it was about the time we were to go. And I remember when it was time to leave, I heard the story of a little girl in Colorado. And her family was moving to California the next day. And she was saying her prayers at night. And when she finished it, she said, well, goodbye, God, we're moving to California. I had a few of the same questions myself. But it was terribly hard to leave. And then we found out that it was turning out all right. Art finally got warm, and his health improved. And we made new friends, and we adjusted easily. Then, sadly, after 4 years, our marriage ended in divorce. But Art and I were able to keep on friendly terms, and thanks to my 3 wonderful children, we got through it probably a little better than most. And if I'd been wondering, I knew for sure then that God was in California too, and he got on through that. I've been retired since I was 70. My last job was as a church secretary. And I keep busy singing, doing church stuff, and playing quite a bit of bridge. They say that keeps your brain active. I think I almost majored in it in college. And so I'm hoping that that's gonna pay off. Now, I can't tell you how meaningful this time has been because all my family was here. And everywhere we turned, it just felt like everyone was welcoming us so warm, and we'll never forget it. And yesterday, we returned Art's ashes to North Dakota. And that always was, in his mind, his home. It's been especially great to see a lot of my Facebook friends here. A few years ago, I started getting friend requests. I was so excited. I don't know how many I have. I can sit in my recliner. I don't even put much on, but I sit there and I just take a look at everything I can that they're doing and how they are doing. And it's been good. I found out I like them still just as much as I did then. And once in a while, I get a compliment as a teacher. Ken Hoffman, not too long ago, told me I was his favorite typing teacher. And then I got to thinking about it, and I realized that was his only typing. And then it got worse because he told me he types with one finger. He's my success story. But he's a good guy, and I like being on Facebook with him. So now that I've done all that remembering, it's time to say thank you. I want to thank Medina for being such a good place to live for 16 years, for providing great kids for us to teach, and for being a very safe and welcoming place to raise a family. Thank you, Medina, for being a community of good values, churches, fun-loving people, God-loving people, good cook and bakers, and good friends. And thank you, Medina, for having the good people who were willing to put so much time and effort into the organization and the carrying out of this beautiful event. It's no wonder we treasure our North Dakota roots. The weather in California might be warmer, but it's not one bit warmer than the hearts of our good friends here in Medina, our North Dakota home. Thank you.